It is currently 5:22 in the morning on February 17th, and I have just finally finished research on the lost city of Z for a book that I am eventually planning on writing. If all goes well, I would like to begin it in April for Camp Nano this year, but that kind of depends on how research goes after this. I started the research for Z on February 2nd and finished it today, a couple minutes ago. Probably closer to 10 or 15 minutes ago at this point. But within those 16-ish days, I worked on it 12 of them, and the last 9 to 10 of those days were directly in a row. Because everything that I found out about this place and everything revolving around it was incredibly interesting to me. I don't think I've ever had that much fun researching something. I love research in general, but this has been super thrilling. The notes that I took all together came from 2 Wikipedia articles, one on The Lost City of Z, one on Manuscript 512, and a New Yorker article. And between those 3 things, I took 21,418 words worth of notes on The Lost City of Z. This is phase 1 of the research that's going to go into one book. Phase 2 is going to be outlining things with note cards and sticky notes and notebooks and placing names and hopefully pictures and maps and hopefully documents and translations and stuff like that. There's going to be a lot that's going to go into it, and like I said, I'm not 100% sure what I want this video or this series to be, but I do, for once, want to document everything that goes into the research for a book. Not every single person researches their books. I didn't used to. My work has improved drastically since I began researching. That's not the only thing that I did to improve my work, but that's the one we're focusing on today. But I want to be able to show that the book isn't the only part of the writing process. There's the research, the writing, the editing, and the formatting, and the self-publishing for me, and the cover designing. For other people, outlining might be in there. Can be rewrites, a whole bunch of stuff. Character designs, character planning, character traits, charts for the setting, world building, stuff like that. But for me, the most basic way to describe my timeline process is research, story, editing, formatting, self-publishing, and then somewhere in between there, a cover is made and a blurb is written for the back of the book. Sometimes that happens before the book is even researched, and sometimes it happens at the very end, so I can't really put that anywhere. But this series in particular, depending on how things go, is going to focus solely on the research for this book. It is untitled. I don't know anything about the characters. I don't know anything about where they live. I don't know anything about any of it except for the fact that it is going to be about the lost city of Z. That's it. But I want to be able to show you all of the work that's going into this book, and I'm hoping that in the end, whatever is produced is something that gets as much love as the research has gotten. And in the end, I hope that it's something that I love as much as I loved doing the research. But that's a process that you guys will get to see. So I'm going to take a short break from the Lost City of Z research, potentially a day or 2. I don't want to wait forever or anything. Where I am right now, I'm going to be starting the 8th edit of one of my other books tomorrow. So it might be put on hold for a week, and then I will come back into it. But I would like to come back into it sooner than that. So we'll see. But either way, I'm assuming this video or series, depending on how long this ends up being, will include a lot of updates and time lapses and a lot of pictures and showing you what I've done and how I'm figuring things out and so on and so forth, but I hope that you guys find it interesting. I'm kind of a nerd. I love research. It's one of my favorite parts of writing. And I know there are other people who absolutely hate it and would refuse to be interested in it, and that's okay. But those of you who are watching, I hope that you find this just as interesting as I have. Alrighty, it is 4:40 a.m. and I have gone through the Wikipedia articles that it used as references to the article on Wikipedia. And the ones that they used, one of them was the New Yorker article that I read. One of them was a book by the same guy who wrote that New Yorker article. That, as far as I can tell, is more about the same stuff that was in that 17,000 article that I already read. 17,000 word article. Might have actually been a little longer than that. I never checked the full word count. I wasn't smart enough to do that in the beginning. But, it was those two. There was another book. There was a research bit on pre-Columbian era people living in the Amazon that was mostly about Mato Grosso or something, and the people that lived there prior to our official finding of it, and how we didn't colonize it, despite the fact that that's what was initially reported, and so on and so forth. But I already knew about that from the initial research, which I learned in the New Yorker article, so I didn't end up taking any notes on that. And then there was another book, I think. The other thing, I eventually, on the same site that I found the pre-Columbian people one, I just looked up the Lost City of Z, and I did find an article for that, but I would have had to pay $7.99 just to access the article, so that way I could buy a subscription to that site to use it once for one article, and that's not something I want. If there were several Lost City of Z articles on there, I would consider it, but there's just the one, and you can't see anything about the Lost City of Z in the preview of the article, and I don't really like the sounds of that. But at the moment, I've done a little over 2,000 words in the Phase 2 research, and as it stands, I am done with this specific part of it. Eventually, soon, don't know when, probably not tonight or this morning, I'm going to move on to the note cards and start mapping some stuff out. And then if I find more stuff while I'm rereading Phase 1's research, then I will look up those and expand upon them as well. Some of the stuff that I expanded upon here is from Phase 1's research, but that is only because I knew there were some things that I had highlighted and commented research or look into this or whatever. There's still some stuff that I do need to look into, but it's not stuff that I need to write down because it's like photographs and maps and stuff like that. So I'm just not going to get into that right now, because if I did find them, I couldn't print anything off because I'm on my tablet and not anywhere near the printer. So that will have to wait until at least later on today, after I sleep. But I am going to get back into writing for now, actual book writing, and then I will come back to research hopefully later today. I'm hoping to get into note cards today. But we'll see how things go, and whenever that happens, I will update you guys, because that is the plan, to keep you as updated on the process behind researching a singular novel as much as I possibly can. So, as soon as I get into note cards, I will give you guys an update. Hey guys, it is currently 10:20 p.m. on March 1st. And I am finally diving into the note card part of the research for the Lost City of Z. So next month is April Camp Nano, and it's when I plan on starting the book that all of this research is for. So in between filming the work in progress videos and these videos, I will also be filming the April Camp Nano prep videos. A lot of moving parts, but doing my best to keep track of things and keep them all organized in a way that I can edit them and hopefully never forget a video in the editing process. But we'll see. So for the note card section, right now I have these little books. They have little perforated note cards in them, so you can just tear them out. I also have a giant container of note cards, but I don't know where that is right off the top of my head, so I'm going to look for it later. But at the moment I have 2 of these, and then I have another one in my room that's being used for Serial Killers Anonymous, which is a book that I wrote in 2016. So I no longer need the rest of the note cards in that book to be saved for that book. So I can remove them if I need more note cards before I find my container thing. But I have these, and then I have a thing of sticky notes that are different colors. I think these 2 yellows are the same color. No, they're different. They're slightly different, I think. But either way, they'll each be used for different things. I'm just not 100% sure what those things are yet. It kind of depends on what I need them for. Some of them might be names, some of them might be Indian tribes, some of them might be things to look up, dig more into, so on and so forth. Depends on what comes about while I'm doing the note card part. But that is what I am going to begin on. There sadly won't be a time lapse just because I'm back here, and I'm only going to be back here for another half hour before I move out into the living room. So there's no point in setting up the tripod and my iPad for that. But later on, as progress comes in, I will most definitely set up time lapses and all of that fun jazz. But at some point I will give you guys an update. I don't know if that'll be tonight or tomorrow. I need to film one more April Camp Nano prep update before midnight, so your update will most likely come after that, when I finish research, building, whatever, completely for this session. But I will see you guys with an update soonish. Hey guys, before I even say anything else, I do want to apologize sincerely for the noise in the background. My heater is on, it's cold as balls back here, and it's too early in the morning / too late in the morning to record in the living room because the birds would be way too loud. So we're out here and it's cold. It is currently 10:29 in the morning on the 6th day of March, and I thought I would finally show you the research that I have recorded so far on the note cards, which I started doing, I believe, March 1st, if not a little sooner, but I think it was March 1st. Either way, I told you at some point that I was doing note cards. I've done a lot so far, but I'm still nowhere near done. And before I show them to you, I would like to say, because I don't think I've said it yet, I don't know if this is the first video or the second video or what. It depends on how long everything is once it's all edited together. But throughout this whole series, every website I've used or every website that I recall using will be linked in the description below, at the bottom, below all of my other stuff. So all the Wikipedia pages, all of the manuscript translations, all that stuff will be down below in case you were super interested in Z and or just wanted to see how many websites I've looked at recently. Up to you. So the first one that I started with was The Lost City of Z, which all of the notes here come from the original Wikipedia article on The Lost City of Z. Because this is the smallest set of note cards for this, it has been made into a foldable. So we've got this. It's looking very fabulous. General overview is just one. We have the history of Lost City of Z, when it was first most likely stumbled upon, when it was first rumored, when Fawcett heard about it, when Fawcett found the manuscript, so on and so forth. That is all here. Anything on these sticky notes are definitions for the words in here that I didn't know or wanted to make sure that I knew. That goes all the way down here, and then we have another one that is about an archaeological site that may have been potential influence for Z. More than likely there was rumors about it at the time that Fawcett theorized about the Lost City of Z, and it is very, very possible that the archaeological site, which starts with a K and I cannot pronounce, that it influenced it. But it's very interesting either way. So then this just folds up, all fun and stuff.
And then I moved on to the Indians, who presumably would be the descendants of the people who would have lived in the archaeological site from before. Again, it is another K word that I haven't looked up how to pronounce yet because it wasn't shoved in my face when I opened the article about it. I looked at a couple articles for this one. Hopefully I can find them again to link them in the description. But they're an Indian tribe, indigenous people in Brazil. We have the general overview of them. We have their language. History, another definition. Religion. The religion one mentions a creature they believe in, so I googled that and found an article specifically about these people. It was a website actually dedicated to them. But all I could find was, I think, slightly more information about where they lived, maybe. But it wasn't super helpful for what I needed it for, so I looked up the word again, and I found a book on Google Books by one of the women that's mentioned in here, who documented the indigenous people's languages and translated them into English with audio recordings. And she's actually written a book that happens to include that creature that they believe in. So I wrote down a quote that was from that book about one of their doctors, I think, that said it, maybe, or how he described the creature. But hooray. So then, outside of those, I have also done the manuscript 512, which I'm still not done with, and I'm nowhere near done with just yet. This is what we've got so far. So, again, general overview, discovery and validation. This is it being at the National Library, Geographical Institute, when it was discovered, who discovered it, who might have written it, stuff like that. That's all in here. This is specifically about how people believe it is tied to the lost city of Z that Fawcett was searching for. There's quite a bit of information about that. A lot of the information here is also later discussed in this entire thing, because a lot of it is just taking stuff from the manuscript and wording it in Wikipedia's own way. But, you know, I still wrote it down. Quick overviews and stuff. Again, possible authorship of it. Interpretations, definition. These are the languages that some of the words that are described in here might have been. But then this is the English translation of the manuscript. Any parts that are like this with the ellipses and the brackets are as stated up here, because in the original document that is stored in the Brazilian Natural Library, whatever it's called, I just said it not too long ago, but I genuinely can't remember it. That's where worms ate into the original document, so you can't see the words there, so they just omit it for obvious reasons. But I have a lot of these. This is about them getting lost, I think, finding a road on accident, trailing down that road that looked man-made. They end up in a city after crossing over some mountains or through mountains. They find some arches, they find some crystals. The big arches have words inscribed on them that they can't make out because the arches are too tall. They go into the city, there are more man-made roads, they're rather wide, there's a plaza, there's houses, burnt floors, statues, beautiful stone, more beautiful crystals. There's a lot of stuff. And they have beautiful descriptions in here, and it's going to give me a relatively good idea of what Z could look like, depending on what I base it on, because there are theories that this place is different than the archaeological site. There are theories that this place is the archaeological site. There are theories that none of them are real, and the one that Fawcett was actually searching for was some sort of indigenous people that were indeed advanced for their time, but all of their houses were built into the earth, not like structured outside of it. There were still 2-story homes and stuff like that, but they were made out of mud and in the walls of the earth, more or less, depending on which one I go with. This is one of the words that they saw on something, one of the statues. So I put a piece of tape over my phone, because that's what I'm reading the manuscript on, and traced it, put it on here, and then put another piece of tape over it so that way it wouldn't transfer onto anything. And then this is the only other one I've gotten through today. It's been a lot of work, but I love this research so much. I don't think I've ever enjoyed research as much as I enjoy this. I always enjoy research. I'm a bit of a research nerd, but this is like a whole new level of, wow, I'm enjoying this. But I still have a lot of work to go through. Once I'm done with the English translation of the manuscript, I need to go back into the notes that I've taken previously, and then I still have the entire New Yorker article that I took notes on to transfer to note cards. That's going to take a while because it was over 17,000 words in the original article that I read for those notes. So it's going to be a lot of note cards, and I think that's putting it gently. But that's okay. My main goal is to finish it before April, because, like I've said, I think in this series somewhere, I'm writing the book This Is All For in April, or at least I'm starting it in April, to say the least. But I still have some more Indian tribes to research after I finish the New Yorker article thing. Probably some more places to research, probably some more people to research. I've never actually in-depth researched Fawcett, so I'm going to do that, see if there are articles for his son and the friend that went with them, see if there are articles for the people that the New Yorker reporter took with him when he went to Brazil. I need to look into a lot of things, and then at the end decide which things are included in the book and which things aren't included in the book. Because some of it will be fictionalized and some of it will be very true and stuck to what is discussed in all of those Wikipedia articles and the New Yorker article and any other thing that I've looked at online. But that's going to be a process, and that process is going to wait. I'm going to deal with the writing it down first. But yeah, that's all I've done so far in the last 6 days. We're making good progress, if nothing else. It's just taking a while. But that's all I have for this very moment. I am actually going to go brush my teeth and go to bed. I'm not 100% sure if I'll work on this anymore today. I have some editing to do when I wake up, and truthfully at some point I still need to film a cover reveal and an unboxing video for Ashes in the Light. But when I do get back to the research, at some point I will update you guys again. I don't know if it will be right away or if it will be sometime after I have several more days of research built up. But either way, I will update you guys. I'm hoping to start doing the time lapses at some point. I just have to get a whole bunch of videos off of my iPad before I can film those time lapses. But I'm very excited to continue this research and to get through everything and then start laying stuff out and, I don't know, designing these statues and designing the arches and all of that. I'm very excited for it. I've never done landscape sketches or anything like that, but I'm planning on actually attempting them specifically for this book and the idea of what things look like. But that's all stuff we'll get into down the road when we come to that bridge and all of that stuff. But for now, I'm gonna get ready for bed and go to sleep, hopefully, and get a few hours of sleep anyway. But I will see you guys again when I have more note cards to report back to you with. I don't know when that will be. I don't know if it'll be today or in a few days, but either way, I have been working on this every day in March so far. It's just that I never got around to showing it to you. But, ta-da! But again, I'm gonna go sleep, and I will see you guys soon-ish with another update on everything I've done. And again, if you're interested, all of the links that I have used, or at least all of the links that I can find that I have used, will be in the description down below.